All right, guys, Dr. J here, physical therapist, and I just want to go over a couple things by request. There's been some people that have been requesting knee mobility, okay? So I'm going to spin this a little bit differently because you might think like, it's going to be a bunch of just flexion and extension, right? Just bending the knee, straightening the knee. All that is fine and dandy. However, if you are dealing with any knee issues, maybe you're a runner, maybe you squat and you have pain with going down the stairs or squatting, it doesn't just come down to the knee. In fact, I've done plenty of rehab where I never even touched the knee at all. And all I really focused on was hip strengthening, ankle mobility, right? Maybe a little bit of quad strengthening. But overall, I've seen people with crazy things like meniscus tears, ACL tears, and you just strengthen the hip and all of a sudden the knee starts to feel better, okay? That is called regional interdependence. It's where you take care of the areas above and below, and all of a sudden, magically, not magically, but coincidentally, the knee actually starts to feel better. So let's go through a couple things. First of all, I want to go through a little bit of ankle mobility first. I think that's one thing where when ankle mobility is restricted, that can have a play on how your knee feels, okay? So if you just think about it this way, let's say if I squat down, okay, I'm going to do like a squat, and let's say my ankles are extremely stiff. Well, what happens is my heels have to come off the ground, right? And then my knees have to really come forward. Now, for me, I can tolerate this. For some people with knee issues, this is not tolerable, okay? This deep squat position. And there's no such thing as, deep squats or knees over toes being a bad thing. So many people have that wrong, okay? It is really, really important to develop tolerance with your knees to come over your toes. Otherwise, going down the stairs, getting off a toilet, for example, those things would be very hard, okay? So that myth, okay, let those knees travel over your toes and you're gonna have a better life in general, okay? We need to keep our knees healthy. First thing I'm gonna start with is just ankle mobility, okay? First thing you can do is you can actually just guide the knee gently over your toes and then try to actively pull your toes up, okay? So as I'm rocking my knee forward, you can't really see it, but I want you to really try to think of pulling those toes up, activating your shin muscles. And when you do that, you should notice that your heel kind of stays closer to the ground. The heel doesn't really elevate, okay? Now, if that's easy, what I'd like you to do is quite simply just put some weight into your mid-thigh. I'm pushing down into my mid-thigh, and I'm going to guide it over and apply some weight to it, okay? So I'm just putting a little bit more load into my ankle, and I'm going to repeat, okay? Very, very easy exercise to do. Okay, if that's not comfortable, if you say, oh man, both of those things are too hard, just grab onto your shin like this. Hold onto your shin, put your thumbs right below the pit of your knee, and you can just guide it for you. Okay, just guide it. All right, so I'm just going to repeat, going to this side. Okay, this is the slightly easier version, just guiding it over your toes. As you get better at it, put some weight into it and push down, actively trying to pull your toes up every single time the knee travels over the toe. All right, now let's say if you're a person that has a little bit of like knee stiffness, let's say morning stiffness every day, we'll do one exercise specifically for the knee, but then I'm going to travel on towards the hip as well. So grab like a tennis ball, or you could grab up like a rolled up towel. You might need something that's a little bit thicker than this, depending on you. And the thing you can do is you can slide it on the floor. I like to use a tennis ball because tennis balls are a little bit firmer. I like to put it in my pit of my knee. And then what I'm going to do is grab onto my shin and just gently try to apply pressure down. And yeah, it's kind of like a massage for your calf, right? Because you're pushing the ball straight into your calf. You don't want any numbness in your foot or anything. So if there's any numbness, stop with the ball and then switch to a towel. It's a little bit softer and more forgiving. Grab, bring that heel towards the butt just gently, okay? For me, I probably grab as hard as I can. I'm used to that pressure against my calf. For some of you that are just starting, this might be a little bit sore, but that's perfectly fine. Okay, then I'm going to switch after about 15 to 20 reps, get it into the other knee, press down, gently push into those tender spots of your calf. So the great thing about this exercise, it's a calf massage or mobilization exercise. You're tenderizing the tissues while working on what we call the proximal tibial femoral joints, one of the main joints that gets arthritis as we age. So you're taking care of the joint in which your shin meets your femur. And this is great for knee health. All right, lost my count because I'm talking to you guys. But there you go, 15, 20 reps. Okay, maybe recheck my squat. Okay, if you recheck your squat and you feel a little bit looser, then great, you've done a great thing for your body. Okay, now what we're gonna do is taking care of the knee and make sure the knee feels better. So let's say you're squatting. Okay, that's an easy test that I use as a physical therapist all the time. Just testing to see where's your tolerance, where does the knee hurt, right? Does it hurt at 90 degrees? Does it hurt in a deep squat? Does it hurt at a shallow squat? Test that out right now, see how you feel, okay? And then we're gonna do a couple of exercises and we're gonna retest again, okay? So first exercise I'm gonna do is it's actually side plank. Many variations to this. I'm gonna show you the variation that we're gonna do today, and it's the side plank clam. So elbows down, okay? Hand on your waist, crease at the hips about 90, maybe 60 to 90 degrees. You're going to lift up your hips, okay? And you're going to squeeze your butt. So think of like doing a bridge. You're going to squeeze your butt, pops the hips forward towards the camera, and then now I'm going to open up my knees. That's a side plank clam right there. Pretty demanding exercise, even with no weight, no bands. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, if that's too hard, just lower down those hips a bit. Okay, you can do it that way. If it's way too hard, okay, I would go down to here and I would just do regular clamshells, just lying on the floor. Easy way to progress that is just straight leg. Okay, so why don't we try some of these here? So I'm going to bring that knee forward, bring this leg slightly back. So I'm squeezing my butt, and I'm going to lift up. Nice and slow. Try to go through full range of motion, getting that heel close to the floor, and then elevate. Okay? Honestly, if you knock these out, if you can start to do 20 to 50 reps in a row, and you do this 3 to 4 sets a day, you'll be very surprised how well your knees will feel the next day, or even in the future, okay, in the near future. All right? So pretty much just working out the same muscles, only that the side plank clam works out your obliques, works out your other hip in a different way. So I'm going to repeat. So let's do that on this side. Side plank clam, elbows down, pop the hips forward, lift that hip off the floor, and 1, 2, I'm going to do 15. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Boom, done, okay? Easy version. If you can tolerate, let's do it. Let's work out the hip abductors a little bit more. Straight leg out, kick that leg slightly back. 1, 2, we'll do 15 here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, perfect. Okay, so one of the main exercises in order to control your shin in space, okay? If anything, like, let's get up now, really quick, recheck the squat, okay? My squat's already feeling better and better every single time I do it, okay? So activating those hip muscles really gonna help with the knee stability, okay? All right, so next exercise, let's activate some of the hamstring muscles. Hamstring attach from the back of the knee, attaches into your ischial tuberosity, your butt bone, your glute right here. So we're gonna try a couple bridge variations, okay? So as you guys know, most people know what a bridge is. If you're not, I'll introduce it to you. I'm gonna show you how to do a proper bridge, okay? So when you lie down, what you'll do here is a couple things, okay? Try to flatten your stomach. When you flatten your stomach, you can kind of feel your pelvis rotate back, okay? That's what you wanna do first. Then you're gonna lift up your toes, okay? Now from here, once I've rolled in, tightened up my abs a bit, pelvis rolled backwards, heels down into the ground, Now I'm going to lift up my butt, but when I lift up, I'm going to drive my knees forward over my toes. That's the most important part. That's going to activate your hamstrings and your glutes. You're really going to feel a difference in your bridge. So bridge, lift up. As you can see, I'm trying to shove my knees forward over my toes, okay? If my knees stay back, if I just lift up my butt, not as much of a contraction. Shove those knees forward over the toes that are elevated from the ground, and you should feel a difference. If not, hold your hand in the air and don't use any upper extremity support. 2, 3, 4, okay? Abs first. Squeeze, knees forward, over the toes. 5, 6, 7, 8. Anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. 9, 10, 11, 12. Remember, shove those knees forward. Don't get lazy. 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay? That should be tiring. Your glutes should be on fire at this point. You should be noticing some tension in your hamstrings. Okay? And that's a good thing. Okay? So other variations to that specific exercise. You can do that single leg. You can do other variations to kind of make yourself a little bit more wobbly. You want to make yourself feel wobbly, so you have to activate more muscles, like within the trunk, within the hips. So easy ways to progress are this. You can either stagger your stance, okay? When you stagger and right foot's out further, right foot's gonna have more hamstring versus left leg that's more tucked in, it's gonna have more glutes. So I just call that a staggered stance bridge, okay? Left leg's doing more of the work. Okay, to progress that, what you do, you can grab onto the knee, okay, or grab onto the back of the thigh, which is more comfortable for people with knee stiffness. Lift, okay, that's a single leg bridge. All right, I'm just gonna knock out a couple sets for people that want to participate. 8, 9, 10, switch, grab onto the back of the thigh for a little bit of comfort. 1, 2, same thing goes, guys. It's going to be the knee pops forward over the toe with those toes lifted off the ground. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Now, here's one of the ones that I made up in the past. I'm going to do a single leg bridge with a fall out. Okay? So when I bridge up, this leg's going to fall out to the side, which is going to make me unstable. I'm going to have to use my trunk muscles to bring it back in. So how that goes is now I'm going to have my hands here or up, lift up, bring the knee out to the side, bring it back in. 1, up, bring it out to the side. 2, up. And this becomes very demanding with no equipment. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go. Other side. And go. 1, out to the side, bring it back in. Side feels a little easier than my left side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try to drag that leg out. If I go further, that's a lot harder. 8. We're going to increase the range of motion of that leg. 9. And 10. All right. Always, always, always. Whenever you have any stiffness or any discomfort, okay, and you know a certain movement that causes soreness, prove it to yourself that it's actually working, okay? So in PT terms, that's called comparable sign. So I'm going to recheck that squat, feeling even better, okay? Muscles feel tired in the back, but my squat feels a lot more stable. All right, so I think that's it for today, guys. Obviously, throw in some questions, anything that you have. A little bit of a spin on what we call mobility. Okay, mobility is not just stretching. Mobility is not trying to get a joint to loosen up. Mobility also involves strengthening. Okay, getting the hips to be stronger makes the knee more stable. Okay, then you feel a lot better going down the stairs, squatting, etc. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any questions. Throw them into the comments. Other than that, I will talk to you soon. I'll see you Wednesday at 12 p.m. Throw in some requests if you need to. Okay, take care.